Welcome into the Treehouse. Time to leave your worries outside and join us here in the Treehouse, where we let our stupid all just hang out. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trinholm, and today's very, very, very esteemed special guest. We've missed you, Angela Chase. How have you been?
Oh, I've missed you guys. It's so nice to see you. It's been so long.
Isn't it nice when old radio friends pop up out of nowhere and be like, hey, you want to do my podcast?
Well, yeah, until you start doing the math on how long you've known people, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm like really old now. But, you know, you can say you're veterans, so I guess there's that part.
Yeah, I guess you could. And age is, if I'm being honest, Angela, age is kind of a touchy subject around here right now because somebody, not me, but somebody has a birthday like now.
Tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Trey.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I'm so excited.
So
you going to get a cupcake
I'm
to
curious.
celebrate?
There's not enough room on a cupcake for all of Trey's candles.
Yeah, that's sadly true.
Oh, you don't look a day over 22.
Oh, God bless you. Yeah, I begin my last year of my 40s. Oh, which just is painful to even say.
Well, you still have another year though before you're actually 50. The downside is though, if I remember correctly, I believe it's 49 and a half is around the time when AARP sends you that heads up card.
Oh, hey, if there is one thing I'm excited about, it is AARP.
You're embracing the discounts.
That. Absolutely. I am embracing the discount on restaurants and insurance and travel and everything else.
Car repair.
And golf, because you can get a senior discount when you golf. So,
at 50? Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
That seems like cheating because most guys that play golf are over 50.
Oh, you know.
That's how they get them to come in.
Uh-huh.
And you're the ones that are always getting those early tee times before the sun comes up. And all the ones that are under 50 are melting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, yeah, you don't want to sweat too much out there. And you say that as I've got a 7 a.m. tee time tomorrow.
He's practicing. He's practicing for that 50th.
Oh, man. He's practicing for his dream to join the senior tour along with everybody else at his age.
I would golf clap for that, Trey.
Oh, thank you.
I'll join here. There you go. How about that? So Angela Chase, formerly of
Everything.
Yeah, I think we've all done the radio circle jerk enough to know that we've you start at one company, you might go to another company, maybe another company after that, and then you somehow end up back at a previous company or the same station where you started. All sorts of things. It all's full circle. So
yeah, I would say that I've been to all of the white people clusters. I've done all the white people clusters, although I did do some traffic for Radio 1. So I really have been everywhere.
So did you actually use Angela Chase when you did, traffic on 97.9 The Beat?
I think I had to come up with a fake name because I was on the Eagle at the time. So they just called me Angela, or I think one time they called me Angela Smith. And I was like, yeah, you can tell I'm white, huh?
It's just amazing. It's like, we have to change your name because you're going to be on a different station. So Angela, we need to make sure we give you a really clever spy name.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with Angela.
Yes. Yeah. They were really making that one difficult for the listeners to figure out.
Could have at least gone with like Angie or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think somebody did that once as well. So, but yeah, that's about the extent of their creativity.
So how long has it been since you've been forced to
abdicate?
Live under the broadcasting boot of creativity?
Wait, the broadcasting boot?
Boot
of creativity. You mean like since I wasn't booted. I left voluntarily. Are you saying like how long it's been since I've been out?
No, just saying that they stifle creativity basically.
Oh God. Oh, sorry. Well, that was 15 years that I did that. But in the beginning, I did get to be creative. So that part was fun. And then around, I don't know, I guess like maybe around in a year, like basically when Chris Ryan was no longer the program director, creativity became stifled for me.
at the Eagle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was, I don't even know what year
2011.
that was. Okay. Well, so
Trey
it took
knows.
that long.
Well,
Trey's got all the receipts in the Treehouse.
Well, Dan, that is an obvious one because it was the transition from Chris Ryan to Don Davis as program director, which was also our transition from mornings to afternoons.
Okay.
No,
so
I remember 2011 for being when we went from mornings to afternoons. That's how I recall it. I didn't remember when Don Davis became our program director officially, because I don't think we ever actually talked to him for months until after he actually had the job. I don't remember when our first meeting with him was.
Oh, okay.
Now, that's not necessarily a slam on him. That's more of a look inside how dark my brain has become, because I don't remember too good.
Well, I also think that your show was just so, it was like its own entity. And so I think all the PDs sort of kind of let that ship steer itself. I'm guessing. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't on the inside, but that's sort of how it seemed to me.
No, that's accurate. I think they all realized, you know what, they know what they're doing. Leave them alone. And even if we didn't know what we were doing, don't talk to us about it.
Yeah.
Right. Except for the AC/DC. Except for the AC/DC.
There's only so many songs that they could add.
Yeah. But no, I just, Chris Ryan was always really good about just sort of like letting you do your thing. But Don was, I just remember him being like, okay, this has got to be a local break. So you need to talk about sports. And I was like, but everybody knows I hate sports. So everybody's going to know I'm lying, and I'll probably give the wrong information.
I would have told you to lean into the fact that you hate sports. I would have said, okay, well, you have to mention it's Monday and you're doing a midday shift. You got to mention what the Cowboys did the day before. And so you lean into it. You just be like, yeah, I don't care, but my boss told me I have to mention it. And so I'm mentioning it. And now I hate sports more because I have to talk about it.
That would have been a lot more fun. And I wouldn't have felt like my creativity was stifled.
Especially if they had lost, because then you could say, what's there to enjoy?
Exactly. Totally agree with you on that one. They weren't even winning back then. Yeah, I would have been able to make that comment a whole lot. I would have just had a line ready to go. It would have made my workday go a lot faster.
And it would have been relatable to the audience because they all hated it too, because they didn't even if they liked sports, they hated watching their team lose.
Yeah, that's true. And I do know what that's like.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Unfortunately, we all do know that. The good news is, though, is all that stuff is behind us. We're all now living our lives of riches and fantasy.
Says the man who lives in paradise.
Yeah. Yeah. One of us is. It's not me. I've got a window unit behind me.
Okay, look. All right, look. Okay, so I planned ahead. So it turns out from when the format changed back in the day at CBS from Live 105.3 to The Fan, we were all able to see the writing on the wall, and we're like, okay, we think something's going on, and then it finally happened. Well, that was a huge lesson in my career. So then when some of that same writing started to appear on the studio walls and the station walls at the Eagle, I was like, I'm not going to be blindsided this time. I'm going to start making plans. So that's what I did. I made plans. Still did my job, still did my job well, but I made plans.
Yeah.
And because I made plans, I find myself, splitting time between an island in the Caribbean and here in Dallas.
It would have been nice for you to have told your friend Trey sitting next to you that you were making plans. You could have gotten a little tiki hut next door, Trey.
I'm still working on it.
I've told him. Trey's been. Yeah. Trey actually, when he was between jobs a few months ago, he actually came to the island and stayed with me and Tara and had a blast.
Was it like Weekend at Bernie's? Just like this, like...
It was really embarrassing. It was Trey on one side, my wife on the other, and my shoes tied to theirs because I got so loaded they had to walk me around. Do you want a quick fun fact, Angela? Did you ever see Weekend at Bernie's 2?
I mean, potentially it could have been running on cable and I wasn't aware that that's what I was watching. But if you're asking if I'm like really intimately familiar with it, the answer is no.
I don't think most people are, including the people that starred in it. But I will tell you this. Weekend at Bernie's 2 was filmed on St. Thomas USVI.
All right. So you should do like a Weekend at Bernie's tour. You can make some money like that, just bringing guests through and then just getting them loaded and walking them around. Be easier to rob them that way too.
It's the whole Weekend at Bernie's extravaganza.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have some people that would show up to that. You know you would.
Actually, Yeah, we probably would, especially when you think about how many cruise ships come through St. Thomas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you just tell them, hey, you want a fun excursion? How about the Weekend at Bernie's excursion? I got you.
The Weekend at Bernie's pub crawl.
And you end up at the bottom of the ocean with an arrow through your head.
Yeah. And you can make money on both ends because you could basically be a matchmaker between a drunk and two, sober people that, wander them around.
That is good. But I will say this, Trey, you have to be careful. You do have to be careful, though, about making money on both ends. That's a different excursion.
Yeah, that's true. That's Fire Island.
I guess you could combine them, but I'm not sure what the island laws are regarding necrophilia.
That took a dirty turn.
It did. And all of a sudden, Angela's thinking, you know what? This show feels dirty, and I'm currently on it in an over-the-garage apartment.
Yeah, I've got the dirtiest thing going on here. I also have a 19-year-old Chiweenie in this room because it's way too hot for her downstairs, and she is pretty gassy. So it smells really amazing up here. Between the old man smell, which really goes with Weekend at Bernie's theme, and then my gassy dog. Yeah, I'm like dying over here, but I've got a smile on my face. I'm rolling with it. The show must go on.
Oh, you know what, though? Here's the thing. Everything you just described as far as a gassy dog and old man smell, trust me, Angela, that was the Eagle Studio near the end.
Oh, I believe you. That I truly, truly believe.
So what have you been up to since you hung up your headphones? I know for a while, like if we wanted to, we could easily shift this Treehouse episode into three real estate professional show if we wanted to, because I know you were doing real estate for a while after you get out of radio.
It would be a short show with some a-holes in it. So I don't know. Yeah, real estate was funny, and it's like, I mean, like you, I did it during COVID. I got my license during COVID, which was not awesome, especially with those interest rates, as Trey and I were discussing earlier. But yeah, so I just discovered that people are really mean, like really mean, and do not respect you at all. I mean, I thought it was bad working at the Eagle, but this was a whole different level of disrespect.
Don't respect you, and damn sure they do not respect your time.
Well, and at least at the Eagle, they paid me a little bit of money, but in real estate, I was just paying to work and drive people around. So yeah, I reached a new low when I became a real estate agent. And finally, I was like, you know what? I have more self-respect than this. I'm going to go work at my Pilates studio and go on vacation. And even if I make less than $1,000 a month, that's still more money than I make in real estate. So,
and the good thing is with Pilates, it's not like you had to go and buy a bunch of stuff in advance or spend thousands of dollars on sales courses or something.
No, not at all. And it's really easy. You just clock in, clock out. And once you're gone, and that's it.
And you get to stretch and stuff.
You do. You do get to stretch and stuff. Get a discount on my workouts, which is nice.
I enjoyed my time doing real estate, and I still do it. I've still got my license. I'm not super active because I'm not here. I'm not here in North Texas enough to really do it full time. So I'll do like a little bit here and there. But it's interesting you mentioned as far as people, treating you like just crap sometimes.
Yeah.
For the most part, I had some pretty good clients. Actually, I had some really good clients. I had one set of clients that I absolutely wanted to throw on a pyre and set on fire.
Yeah.
And they started out really cool. And then...
as they do.
And then they turned. I don't know if someone fed them after midnight or got them wet or what the deal was. They turned. And so there was one woman in our real estate office. I'll give it a plug because why not? It's yourhomefree.com. And in our real estate office at Your Home Free, there's a individual in there who is considered the pit bull of the office. She's the one that handles all the contract to close stuff for the office.
Oh, okay. Very tight bag.
She knows how to negotiate everything in the middle of an option period. When she can negotiate everything. She's the one that you send in. She's the closer, right?
Mm-hmm. And
one time we had a call with these two clients, myself and our closer, and it was pretty interesting because she had to calm me down. Because I still remember where I was. I was driving south on the tollway at Keller Springs. on my way to the radio station, having a phone call that I've had a conference call with these real estate clients. And they said something along the lines of, well, you work for me and blah, 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 blah. And keep in mind, they were totally in the wrong in whatever the situation was. And I about invented the technology to crawl through the phone and strangle some bitches. And again, so our office pit bull had to like calm me down and take the lead as far as like, oh, you know what, we'll figure this out. It's okay. And she smoothed things over. I never saw them again. And it was a good thing I didn't.
Yeah. How about you, Trey? Have you had any nightmare stories?
Trey worked with his mom for many years. So he's full of nightmare stories.
Oh, and the thing that really, where I just was my burnout of real estate was I had basically, and this is over 15 years ago, but it was $3 million in title on two separate transactions. But they were tied together. And basically it all came down to that the sellers and buyers on one of them, they were got in a pissing contest over $1,500 drapes. Oh. And I was like, I'll pay for the drape. Here, I'll $1,500. You know, but you couldn't do it. And that, $3 million then was, probably $5-6 million now. So, I mean, it was a lot of money. And that's when I remember I threw my phone on my car, the floorboard next to me broke it, which was just, the cherry on top of seeing, $90,000 go down the drain. Oh. And
I'm assuming it broke the phone, not that you threw the phone so hard it broke the car.
No, it broke the phone.
That's where you needed that technology to be able to crawl through the phone.
Oh,
so you would have been able to get on the other side instead of break. Well, yeah, okay, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that technology hasn't been created then, Dan.
Yeah, but I'm still working on it. I mean, not with my hands because I'm terrible at engineering and actually physically inventing something. But I got ideas. I just need someone. Yeah, I got the ideas. I've got the vision. I just need someone to actually do the knowledge based stuff.
You just need to rent somebody with Asperger's, just like, it's like an 8-hour day. And just be like, okay, here's my ideas. I need you to figure out how to implement them.
Well, the biggest thing you figure out is that in real estate, and then you just realize it's pervasive in everything, is people are stupid. And there's just no getting around it. Like,
well, I think that they just think that they know because they have the Zillow app.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's one of the most dangerous things in the world today is people thinking they know more than they actually do.
Yeah. And a lot of them think that. But yeah.
And by the way, it's not a disease that is limited to, Dallas, Fort Worth or Texas or the United States. I mean, there's plenty of stupid people on the island where I live. The difference is they're just all smiling.
Well, that's because they're in paradise.
There are.
Go ahead. Life is simpler there, right?
Most of the time it is. Most of the time it is much simpler, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to go. A business opportunity for my wife, and also because, I was just kind of sick of stuff, and a little bit of change of pace. I thought, this sounds nice. I don't mind, if I wanted to every day. If I want to go stick my feet in the ocean, I can.
Have you taken up any new hobbies since you've been there?
Podcasting.
Okay. But no, like scuba diving or anything like that?
I am not a scuba guy. I don't know if I'll ever do that. And I know, Trey, you're a scuba guy. I have an irrational fear of heights. And
me too.
Actually, I shouldn't say a fear of heights is irrational. To me, that's rational. The irrational fear I have is when I'm in water that's really, really deep, especially if I can't see the bottom. It's the same feeling I get as if I'm up on something really high. And it's irrational because I'm not going to fall down that deep, dark abyss in the ocean because I'm float.
Okay.
But my anxiety doesn't seem to recognize, reason.
I get that. I had a hard time getting scuba certified. I actually had the scuba instructor. I had to during the lunch break go separately with him, and I held his hand the entire. I was like, "Do not let go of my hand," because I was so it freaked me out, the idea, like we had to descend and like go 25 feet down, and then they were like, okay, and then wait on this platform, and the idea of just waiting down there freaked me out like no other. It was just that waiting and waiting and waiting, and then like, what if I need to like scratch, or and it's like, and I can't. It just felt so suffocating. Do you get
what
all
do
that?
you do in those situations?
I cope with it.
I mean, you have to. The platform is just to teach you, so you don't get the bends when you come up. Basically,
well, it's also at Scuba Ranch. That's all that's there. It's just like a platform at 20 feet. But
well, it's
like
a lot better than that lake. I think it's either in Michigan or Minnesota, somewhere up north, where it's like at a certain depth in a lake where it's very popular to get scuba certified. Someone stuck a big statue of Jason Voorhees at the bottom of the lake.
Oh God, no. No.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So like how many what kind of certification do you have, Trey?
I'm a master diver certification.
So you've done like the deep dark nighttime dives and all of that?
Yes. The only thing I will never do again is cave diving.
Oh, you've done that.
That is I have like, I am claustrophobic. That is my biggest phobia. And I did cave dive, and it was in Florida, and it was spring water, but part of this cave, like you just were on a rope, and you had to like basically pull yourself through, and you talk about there's no light one way or the other. That is the one time. And although it's not even wide enough for you to get turned around, the fact that you don't really you lose track of where you're going, where you came from. I started hyperventilating and going through my oxygen, and I had to turn around. And
you think I like there is no way around it. Like I will snorkel.
Yeah.
I will stay at the top. I might even go down a few feet and swim with a couple of fishies or something and poke around in a hole here and there. But I'm not doing a cave dive. I'm not doing a cave dive if I have to pull myself on a rope. I'm not going in any room where I can't see anything. That you hell no. And also, by the way, Trey, that doesn't make you a master diver. That makes you what's the term I just looked up? Nightmare certified.
That's true.
I could never, like, you want to talk about like actually giving me anxiety. I watched one of the documentary or the movies they made about the Thailand, the soccer team that got
I saw that movie. Yes.
The one with Viggo Mortensen and
yes.
You want to talk about, I can't even fathom how those guys.
Absolutely not. I'd have to, the closest thing, if I was the only person nearby with like a pair of fins and a snorkel tube, I would not have gone in there. All I would have been able to do is to possibly send a laminated note card on the
child.
rope. Yeah, on the rope saying, sorry, you're just going to fucking die.
You can at least just say, you're in my thoughts and prayers.
That right there. That seems to help all horrible situations, doesn't it? Thoughts and prayers. I'll just send that on the laminated card. Just
send a little hammer and chisel, just to drill your way out.
That's right. And the hammer is named thoughts, and the chisel is named prayers.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
This segment of the Treehouse is brought to you by Cook DFW Roofing and Restorations. Their phone number, 833-COOK-DFW. That's 833-COOK-DFW. Give them a call for your free roof inspection. Make sure your roof survived the last storm and or is ready for the next one. Free roof inspection. Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. The website, cookdfw.com. Back in the Treehouse with Angela Chase.
Hi.
So the other thing I was going to throw at you real quick, real estate wise, is because there's another thread in your, as you said, brief real estate career. But it was a very impactful one because you got to work with someone who's well respected in the real estate industry, but is also widely feared amongst the general public. That
Only if you're
is
doing something wrong.
that is true, but we're talking about Becky Oliver, who used to be the investigative reporter at Fox 4 for many, 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 many years. And she did such a good job of it that she still instills fear wherever she goes, unless you know her. And like Angela, you were saying
Oh my
to us
gosh.
before we got started that you say she's just a sweet old gal.
She is just like heart of gold. I love her so much, like so much. I actually went on a ski trip with her in February. She has a condo in Copper Mountain, and she was like, "Do you want to come?" And I mean, but she raised 6 children, so I mean, she's just got this like total mama bear instinct. She's just the kindest. She's very religious, and so she's just like, everything that like she's like the true Christian. She's like a good as gold person. I love her so much.
It's amazing because we spent so many years watching everything that she did on Fox 4, because you're right. I mean, if you weren't doing anything wrong, you had nothing to worry about.
Right.
However, she was so good at it. And when you only see one side of a person,
Mm-hmm.
I actually have seen Becky Oliver in person a handful of times. None of them were in bad situations. I think one was at a radio station lobby, and that kind of made sense because she was there promoting something. But I also saw her once at IHOP.
Mm-hmm.
And many years ago, I saw her at IHOP, and then I thought, what's wrong with this IHOP? Even though, like you're saying, she was not on duty. She was with her family. There was nothing wrong. She seemed to be enjoying herself. But I happened to be sitting facing her, and I'm like, is she about to like pop up with a camera crew? Like who's in trouble? And then another time I saw her at a grocery store, same thing. I was like, okay, is someone about to get in trouble? What's going on? Please just don't let it be me. What have I done? Anything that could remotely be construed as bad?
No, she has so much energy. It's insane to me that she could raise the kids and work full time, and then she's still running around doing errands. And or at least at the time, I'm sure she probably still is now. But we'll give them a plug if I can. I don't know, but she's with Briggs
Sure.
Freeman, and in the Lakewood office, at least, I don't know about like for the whole like DFW area, but she is number 1 in sales. I mean, and she will bend over backwards to advocate for people. I mean, she is amazing. You shouldn't be afraid of her. You should go up to her and be like, "Hey, Becky, I'm friends with."
I'm sorry.
Angela."
No, I remember because I ran into her we were at a restaurant years ago, and I there are very few things that strike fear into me, but she did, and a lot of it was I was like, we've made a lot of jokes about her. This is where I die.
Oh,
She's gonna.
Yeah,
Well,
I
if
think
you
I'm
made
kind of with
jokes about-
Trey. The good news is though, is I feel like I could. I don't know why I'd feel weird going up to Becky Oliver, going like, "Hey, Becky," but if I did see her, I would be very tempted to say hi. And the good news is now I could say, the guy that made all those jokes totally dead now. Wasn't me, not my fault. I was an unwitting accomplice. It was funny at the time, but no, that was the other guy.
And Angela, to answer your question, one of the, like, we used to laugh. We're like, they keep her in the basement at Fox 4 in a cage, and they just, kind of tase her. And then when sweeps get there, they just get her more and more agitated. Then sweeps start, and they just open up the cage. Go get her.
And she is unleashed.
I bet she would laugh at that. She's got a good sense of humor.
But she's still scary.
Only if you're doing something wrong. But if you are the wronged one, who better to have in your corner?
Absolutely. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And
She's
honestly, Trey,
sensitive.
really, and I think Angela's right. It's like only if you were doing something wrong would you fall under the microscope of Becky Oliver. And if you somehow were able to trap Becky Oliver and keep her in a cage in the basement of a TV studio, she's going to gnaw through those bars and come get you. And all you've done is you've
smart.
offered
She won't have
her.
to gnaw. She'll find a way out without gnawing. She is one of the sharpest people I know.
You hear that, Trey? She's made of knives.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She probably is. She's got them tucked away somewhere.
I will say this though: if I was to not use any actual personal friends in a real estate transaction, I would have Becky Oliver on my side because I think she'll absolutely terrify the other agent into whatever I want.
I mean, she just is so supportive. Like the things that I have seen her do for her clients is just above and beyond. And I don't want to say what they are because I don't want people being like, "Oh, cool, I'll just get my real estate agent to do that," because I feel like she does get taken advantage of because I think she has this like, she's blustery and she's tall and she's like, when she's got charisma, like when she's in a room. And so I think that, but it's like she's such a teddy bear on the inside. She's so soft on the inside. And it's like I was saying to you earlier, really the best way to describe her is like my Great Pyrenees puppy. Seriously, she's tall, long legs. She just wants you to love her. She peers down at you and is like looking at you like, oh, look at how cute that. Like my Great Pyrenees looks at my little dog like she thinks it's so cute. Becky thinks everybody's so cute because she's taller than everyone. She's just so nice though.
Does she also lean up against you the way a Pyrenees does?
Sometimes she does. Absolutely, she does. No, we got along great. I felt really, really lucky to have her as my mentor, and they did pair us up because we were media, but she was just
That's cool.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad.
So
I'm
it is-
glad
Sorry,
you brought Becky up. Puts a smile on my face.
if you needed a realtor, I mean, yeah, Becky, especially like if you're buying a house and you wanted an agent, because when it comes down to negotiation, you just strap a camera on her and send her in there and go, so you don't want to fix the shower pan? Why not?
That's right. What are you hiding?
Yeah, that will be Becky for sure. For sure.
So
And her
she's
husband's a
someone.
lawyer.
So she's someone that was able to tap into her talents, right? She was able to tap into her talents and excel in television, and also excel in real estate.
And her
And we
kids
all
like
have-
go to Ivy League schools. I mean, she's just incredible.
Did they earn it, or did she just send a strongly worded video?
I think they earned it.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad for her and those kids. But we like to deal more in stupid around here. So, what's the opposite of a talent is something you're terrible at. But then there's an additional twist on there that I've recognized recently, for myself and my wife, and that is an unwanted talent. And an unwanted talent is something that you're good at, but you wish you weren't. So I'll give you two really good examples of unwanted talents that I have that I wished I didn't. The first one, and this is the most important one by far, I am extremely talented in forgetting almost everything my wife says. And it makes navigating a relationship difficult at times. I'm not going to lie.
And you aren't alone in that.
Well, here's the other thing. I know the old joke is, selective memory, men don't listen to their wives, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the case. I listen. I do listen. I just don't remember it, which still at the end of the day makes it seem like you're not listening. But I swear I do listen. I'm really forgetful.
Do you
The
forget
other
other
one,
things?
Yes, I forget stuff I've done and said. So that's why I try to lean on and telling Tara, it's like, it's not just you. I forget stuff I say as well. But my other unwanted talent, and this is one I recognized years and years and years ago. I really, really wish I was not so good at walking through spider webs. I really cannot embellish to you how many times I have been walking single file in a line, third, fourth, fifth person back, and I'm the one that walks through the spider web. I still remember one time at Lake Louisville. This was on the Lake Dallas side behind Barflies. It was behind Barflies, and was with the owner of Barflies at the time, Jeremy. And there was like 4 or 5 of us who were going out, I think, to Jeremy's boat. And Jeremy was a tall guy. He was in front of me. I think Raj was there. He's also a tall guy. He's like 6'1". I was third behind them. So I'm behind 2 over 6 foot tall men. And I'm the one whose face finds the spider web in the marina.
Maybe
and there's no way to look cool when you walk through a spider web.
I would just call that chivalry. You're just making sure you get it for everyone else.
There were no women behind me.
Hey, these days, doesn't matter.
There were no romantic interests behind me.
I want to see you start pulling the chair out for Raj.
Yeah, be nice. Help him with his coat.
You know what? As long as I'm guaranteed not to go face first into a spider web, I would actually consider it. But it is kind of a freakish thing. If like there was times in our like getting out of the car in the garage, Tara would like I'll do the chivalrous thing and have her walk in front of me, go in the door first. She goes in the door first. I go through second. I'm the one with a face full of cobweb.
So, do you have the same fear of spiders as you do heights?
No, I don't have. I don't have a real fear of spiders. I don't want them crawling on me or anything. But I think that's normal. But I wouldn't say I'm phobic about them.
Right.
But it's funny. So my wife, you want to know her unwanted talent?
Yes.
Seeing old men peeing.
And where has this happened, pray tell?
Well, pretty much anytime we've ever gone camping, we've never gone anywhere like super remote camping. It's usually been more of a glamping scenario. But if there's a guy who's sneaking off to go take a leak in the woods, she'll see it. And it's not like she's looking for it. It just happens. More recently, though, Trey will know this. There's where we live down on the beach. There's a couple of bars down there on the beach. I know, shocker. And one of them has really nice bathrooms. The other one does not. And you don't want to use their porta potty. So what do most guys do? They go off, they walk a little bit to the tree line and then or between a couple of Toyota Tacomas and they'll take a leak on the edge of the beach. I hardly ever see that. My wife, though, as soon as she gets 1 foot out of the car, there's a guy peeing.
Maybe it's like magnetic poles. It's like, as a dude, there's just some sort of innate sense that you just know. It's like, oh, north to north, I got to go the other way. Whereas, could be like a north to south situation with your wife and random urinating men.
The good news is, for the most part, their backs are usually to her.
Yeah. That is definitely the upside.
But
I think it's better to
she
bump
knows.
into.
She knows the body language, though. She's got it down. She knows the stance and all of it.
So she's got like a good reaction time on it. It's just like a millisecond for her to see it. Whereas for some other
recognition.
Unsuspecting female, it might take some time.
Yeah. So like, I don't know about you, Angela, but if you were to see a guy in the stance from behind, going number one, it might take you a second. One, to be like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? And number two, is that guy really doing that in public? Oh my God, what's wrong? So it may take you a little bit longer. She has it immediately. She just knows.
Because she's eliminated the first part. She doesn't have to go, am I seeing what I'm seeing? Like, she's just like, I'm seeing that. So she can just get straight to the meat of the situation.
Yeah, she is such a skilled veteran at it now. She knows it immediately.
Well, that could come in handy one day. You never know.
Yeah, as you get old.
Or on the island.
As I get old and she knows that I have a hard time holding it because my prostate's the size of a baseball. And she's like, hey, we get out of the car. She sees a guy taking a leak. She's like, when you need to go later, just go over there. That's apparently the outdoor bathroom. So I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but I'm curious, Trey or Angela, any unwanted talents? I think I've got one for Trey, but I'll see if you have one for yourself at some point.
Making up stupid songs for my dog.
Oh, my husband does that. It's really sweet. When you sing to your dog. Is it Daisy?
You can't bring that up and not share.
Huh? Yeah, no, I mean, my last one, just because the Barbie movie and the promos, it's, the Barbie song, come on, Barbie, let's go party.
That's the song I sing to my dog.
I say, come on, Daisy, let's go potty.
Oh, okay, so mine is.
Please tell me she dances side to side when you do that.
She wags her tail.
That is so funny, though. That is the song that I sing to my dog, but it had nothing to do with the Barbie movie. But I say, she's a baby girl in her baby world, because she, her house is kind of small and she's so big, and she's just, just baby world, baby girl.
I think both of you, what you need to do now is when you take your dogs outside, which, by the way, could be the next casting for the dog version of Twins, a Great Pyrenees and a 3-pound Daisy Chihuahua. You actually need to play on your phone, full blast, Aqua's Barbie Girl.
Yeah, except that poor Daisy will be terrified of Lexi, because Lexi will do the Becky Oliver on her. She'll just like stoop over her like, you're so cute. And it's just, it'll be all over for poor Daisy.
Actually, funny thing, Daisy is not afraid of big dogs at all. It's actually other small dogs she's far more cautious with.
Okay, so she maybe does need to meet Lexi because I feel like Lexi's self-esteem is really hurting because she's like nobody wants to be her friend and she's the sweetest dog
Aw.
in the whole world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is, that's terrible.
It is. Well, I take her to the White Rock Dog Park, but like it's been closed for some renovations, so she's been a little lonely.
How many renovations does a dog park need? Isn't it just some grass, a fence, and some like little, poopy stations?
I think they're putting some agility equipment in there.
Real? Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I don't know. We'll find out on the 1st because it's open or it's closed to the end of the month.
You think it'll actually open on time?
I hope so. I really hope so because I have to walk her, and it's much easier to just sit under a shade tree than it is to walk a dog that weighs 80 pounds and wants to befriend everyone.
Yeah, I think with Trey, I think all he has to do is just hang Daisy over the balcony and just kind of give a gentle squeak.
her little paws just kind of run in motion.
I would imagine like getting Daisy to go number one. You just hold her over the like the edge of the balcony railing tray, and it's just like just giving like a little squeeze of a kitchen sponge.
I wish that would work. Is the what? Yeah, she does not like fake grass for some reason, and of course, when it's raining and there's like fake grass in my little apartment building under some covered areas, which would be really handy if she would ever use it when it's raining. But of course, she will have none of it. And of course, she doesn't like getting wet either. She looks at me like, let's hurry the F up. Get the umbrella. Let's go.
So, Angela, any possible unwanted talents in with you?
Well, I'm really good at being brutally honest, I guess. It's created some
but is that a
issues.
talent that you wish you didn't have? Like has it gotten you in trouble where you said something you're like, ooh, I should not have said that?
My entire life, Dan. My entire life. I feel like I am just constantly doing some sort of a walk of shame. And then the worst part is that I'll say something that I think is funny. And then particularly like in 2023, because I'm like even afraid to tell you this story, but you know how certain words when we were kids, it was okay to use those words and now it's not. It's yes. So like I'll say something, and not that I'm so socially unaware that I don't know which words are off limits. Although sometimes I'm like, wait, what's did you know that algebra is racist now? Apparently algebra is racist.
I heard that.
I'm like, but it's math. Yeah, it's very confusing to me. So anyway, I just feel like we live in a very PC world now. So I feel like I'm constantly inserting my foot into my mouth, but when I'm by myself, I think it's funny.
You just let all the racist stuff fly?
No, not racist, but like math. Well, I am studying for the GRE, so I'm doing a lot of algebra. So that's practicing a lot of racism right now. Yeah, if that's what it is, that's the equation right there.
Turns out Pythagorean's theorem was started at a cross burning.
Something like that. They were trying to figure out the hypotenuse of something. But no, watch. Somebody's going to take like that sound clip and then all of a sudden it's going to be like just that one thing I said and it's going to be turned into something completely different. But no, people I'll say something that I think is kind of funny and then people will think it's mean. So I'm like, but I was and then but it's like I feel bad. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry. But then a lot of times people don't want to accept your apology.
Is it because you can't control yourself and you just keep throwing out midget jokes in front of little people?
No, it's not even that extreme, Dan. It's not even that extreme. Okay, it's just like no, I can't.
Honestly,
yeah.
How uncomfortable you are is all the effect I need.
Yeah.
Clearly, being an asshole is new to you. If you need any advice, let me know because that was my number one of my hidden talents is just being an a-hole.
Yeah, the thing is, Trey, is that one's not hidden.
Yeah, no, it's not hidden, and I'm not really ashamed of it. It's just
no, you're not. But I was going to say
very natural.
Yeah. No, no. With you, to me, your unwanted talent, Trey, is just good old fashioned staying single.
Oh,
yeah. Being alone. Yes, that's.
You're like the
Daisy.
forever alone meme personified.
He's got Daisy. He'll always have the love of Daisy. You know, I remember years ago. I mean, like 10 years ago or more. Like driving my car like uptown and like. I just see this guy and this little chihuahua, and I look and I'm like, oh, it's Trey and Daisy. It was like the sweetest thing. And it was nice. Trey would like come to the studio whenever he had Daisy so that I could see her.
There she
There she
is.
is. Look at her little tongue.
That tongue is not little. She's like the Gene Simmons of Chihuahuas.
She is. But sweeter, way sweeter. You know, Gene Simmons, he like ran me into an easel one time. He is of the rudest celebrities I've ever met. He was the rudest. It was at the American Idol finales when he was a judge, and like we're all in the media room, and like people are taking pictures, and the fake Ace Frehley was stopping to take pictures with people, and so I'm like looking around, and it's all these pop people, and so I'm like, oh, I know who the real rock star is. I know which one to get like the good picture with, and so Gene comes through, and I was like, hi. And I'm like trying to keep up with him, and he's got his heels on. So I'm looking way up here, and I'm like, hi, can I get a picture with you? And I've got my phone up and everything. And he's like, sure. And I was like, huh? And he's like, sure. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm expecting him to stop, and he doesn't. He just keeps going. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like trying to get this picture. Meanwhile, everybody from like all 40 stations and their assistants, you know, that were helping, everybody's in there. And there's an easel that's got like a poster on it, and he just runs me right into it. It was the most embarrassing thing. And then the guy from the station, Sammy, that had come with us, he was just like, oh my God, Angela, I was so embarrassed for you. I was like, thanks, Sammy. I need to go get drunk now. Like, it was just awful.
It would have been nicer if he said, are you okay? But instead, he immediately just says, I'm embarrassed for you. This is, ugh.
Yeah. But like Gene Simmons just kept on walking.
Well, that's unfortunately, I'm not that surprised. And it's like whenever I hear someone talk about an unfortunate, run-in with a celebrity, I'm not surprised anymore. The weird thing though, to me about Gene Simmons is how he put himself on this pedestal, bragging about how many women he had slept with, and then just basically making it seem like he was God's gift to women, until the day that it got leaked, that sex tape of him with someone, and all that stuff on a pedestal, the luster of him being just some fantastic rock star swordsman with the ladies, all went out the window because you basically saw him in this video, and it was such a letdown. I felt bad not only for the girl, I felt bad for the bed. I felt bad for the camera. I felt bad for the guest, like the front desk person that had to check them into that hotel.
What was it that was so bad?
It was about 7 seconds.
Oh.
Basically about the length of one of Kiss's intros on their song.
So Gene doesn't rock and roll all night?
No, but he can hit the post.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
This segment of the Treehouse is brought to you by Brooks Plumbing. 214-368-3838 is their phone number. That's 214-368-3838 for any and all of your plumbing wants and needs. Give our friends at Brooks Plumbing a call. The website, brooksplumbingtexas.com. It's been a lot of fun catching up with you, Angela. It's been far too long.
It has been.
But I'm glad to do it at some point, because I know that it gets weird when you're in radio for so many years. It becomes your life and everything. And I think this is true for most people's jobs. It's like most of their life kind of revolves around their work if they're really committed to it.
Yeah, and if you're in radio and you lasted more than 2 seconds, you were.
Yeah, absolutely, because it'll thin the herd real fast whether or not you want to be there doing it.
Yeah.
And So it's interesting when you're no longer doing radio, all of a sudden the people that you don't talk to anymore who are still in radio, because sometimes you start to think like, do I have the plague or something? Why don't they talk to me? And then you realize, oh, it's nothing to do with me. It's just because, they're a-holes. And they probably really weren't your friend in the first place. If situations change and all of a sudden you don't ever hear from people anymore.
Or they're just so busy doing the jobs of 18 people that they don't have time to communicate with anybody that they don't work with.
And that is the flip side. And the difference is those people still find time to contact you, even though they're doing the jobs of 18 freaking people.
That and once you're let go, you're an unfortunate reminder of the reality of the business, which is, for people that are still in it, you're so disposable.
Oh, you are. And that's something to keep in mind, especially, with our situations, Trey. It's like, when we were at CBS, the show was still doing really well in the ratings, and we still all got let go.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, if it can happen to us, it can happen to you. And then at the Eagle, it was a somewhat similar situation. The show was doing really well until outside forces started, acting upon it. Having the show cut in half, having, basketball cutting into our limited show time affected our ratings. And
the crap all around you.
I didn't say that.
I did.
I like the guy from DC who did Nights. I got a snort out of Trey. That made today worth it.
See, I'm so out of it. I don't even know who that is. Like I actually have a Klinger.
His name was Klinger. Yeah.
So I stopped listening to, after.
So did everyone else.
So I was listening to your earlier podcast when you were talking. It's true.
Angela, don't mind him. He's just cracking himself up.
No, you mentioned a certain program director in one of the podcasts that I listened to prep for this. That was the one who let me go. And let's just say I enjoyed hearing the story about the stolen burritos.
Burrito eater.
Yeah, I don't know. When I would see people get laid off, it was just kind of like, okay, is there going to be a round 3? It's like boxing, It's like, okay, you're going to be up for another round. And I think after my last gig where I made a lot of money, well, I shouldn't say a lot of, I made a lot of money relative to every other radio job I had, and the amount of work that I had to do relative to the amount of work that I had done in the past for less money.
Right.
But my last good, gig, it wasn't anything personal. It was something that I can't discuss here. But it was just like, I don't have the energy to try to start all over again at $15 an hour, working 2 hours a week. I mean, it's just not worth it to me anymore. So I was just like, I kind of want to leave on my own accord and just at least have that bit of control. I can at least say that,
Yeah.
It's good for my
and I think that's great. And it's not like, and unfortunately, our situation is not entirely unique. I mean, almost exactly what you said was something that Jagger said when his time came up and his card got punched at iHeartRadio. And it was a similar thing. He was like, you know what? I'm hanging up the headphones. I don't have the energy for this anymore. I'm tired of it. It's like, and you get it. And then Trey, you're also right. The people that are still there doing it, they don't want to see you or think about you, because it is a reminder, thinking that, my God, if they let that person go, and they're good at what they do. And the flip side is someone who is actually really good at what they do. Like you said, Angela, being, not just asked, but being commanded to do the jobs of multiple people and care, whereas so many others don't. It's taxing, to say the least.
I'm pretty sure I got laid off from one of my jobs for asking for a raise.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah. But, oh well.
How dare you?
Oh, I know. And every time they'd be like, hey, do you want to do this? And I'd be like, sure. Am I going to get more money? They were like, well, this is an opportunity. I was like, well, I've been doing this for 10 years now. So I'd really rather just have the money. Like, less opportunities and more money.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah. At that point, I think I would have responded, you're right. It is an opportunity for you to pay me more money.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't want to be paid in tickets either because I've been to every show at least 5 times. So I really just want the money. Just want the money. That would be great. Although now concert tickets are so expensive, if I were given permission to be able to sell said tickets, that might be better than the money, honestly.
And that's the reason why so many people have been popped out of radio because they were paid so little, they got in trouble for selling those tickets to people.
Do you remember my best friend in radio whenever I first started out and did promotions? You were
Erica.
half of yes, that happened.
I remember
to her.
Erica. Of course, I remember you guys.
Yeah.
You guys went everywhere together.
We were Angerica. That was my MySpace name, half of Angerica. How many times did y'all get laid off?
Just the two for the 2 format flips.
Okay. See, I was laid off 3 times. But one of them was like doing traffic, like from a traffic network. And, you know, those things were always getting bought and sold and going out of business. So, but they asked me to come back. So that's good. But, you know,
that is kind of the weird thing. It happened.
So I worked at KRLD and my husband's aunt started Restaurant Week. She was a sales rep at KRLD and she was the one who started Restaurant Week in Dallas.
Really?
And yes.
Did she have to start that because they didn't pay her enough? So she had to go to restaurants for Plug-Ola to be able to eat?
Well, she did sales. So she has a very lovely home on Swiss Avenue. So no, she did just fine. Yeah. She's fabulous. I love her. But she and some of the other people that have retired from KRLD, they did a reunion. It was a KRLD reunion and they had it at El Phoenix Victory Park, El Phoenix, and rented out this whole room. And I mean, you know, that station has been around for like 90 years or whatever. So it was like, I mean, tons and tons and tons of people. I mean, there were over 100 people there. It was really, really cool. So maybe somebody should end up doing an Eagle reunion.
We might have lost her.
I think she locked up really good.
Uh-oh.
Station has been around forever.
It has. And it's probably because they have better technical ability than we do. See, that's what happens when you have just enough money to pay a full-time engineer.
You get the good internet.
Maybe that's part of the problem is that the internet I'm using is actually don't tell anybody, but I'm on the iHeart Wi-Fi still.
Ooh. Surprised it still works. It's not some hamster spinning a wheel.
Oh no, that hamster died a long, long time ago. No, it's just a series of Wi-Fi extenders that I've strategically placed down the tollway. For all things Treehouse, go to treehouseonair.com. Be sure to find and follow us on social media at Treehouse On Air. For me, it's at the Dan O'Malley. For Trey, it's at Trey Trenholm and at Trey Trenholm1. We'll say goodbye to Angela Chase as well. We'll be sure to have Angela on again. So she can offer a proper goodbye next time. We'll see you next time in the Treehouse. Don't forget, we're on YouTube now.